Okay, Rams, tonight's homework is on page 5 in your math notebook, okay? And it is over equivalent fractions and decimals, okay? So some of this you learned in elementary, and it'll be a little bit of review. Some of it may be new, okay? So the first thing up here, I put some benchmark ones up here. Now, benchmark fractions are the ones that we can use to compare, the ones that are usually the easiest for us to recognize. Like 1/2 is the same as 5/10. Now, we don't just say that 0.5 though. We use place value. 1/4 would be 25 hundredths. 3/4 would be 75 hundredths. And then 1/3, this is actually a continuing repeating decimal here. It's 33 hundredths, or 2/3 would be 66 hundredths. Those should be familiar from elementary. Now, to change a decimal to a fraction, okay, you have your place value chart. And so as long as you know where the number falls, so this number that looks like a 0.36, I would have a 3 right here and a 6 right here after your decimal. So all we do is read it like place value. 0.36 sounds like 36 hundredths. Okay, 36 hundredths. Well, and how do I write 36 hundredths as a decimal or as a fraction? Well, I'll just put my 36 over 100. That's pretty simple. Now, years ago, I had a student teach me a little hint about writing your decimals as a fraction. Okay, so I learned any decimal. I'm going to give you a couple of them here. Okay, so any decimal that you have, you can just underline your number, underline your decimal here, and you put a 1 right below your decimal. Put a 1 right below the decimal right there, and then a 0 under all of the other digits. Okay, so you have a 0 and a 3, so I'll put 2 zeros. 412, it would have 3 zeros. So I'll just read this as 7/10, 3 100ths, or 412 thousandths. May help you out whenever you're trying to name this as a fraction, because if we call this 36 thousandths, well then that's going to be wrong because that's the wrong place value. Okay, so changing your decimals to fractions, you just read them out loud and then write it just like it sounds as a fraction. Your denominator should be a 10 or a 100. It could be 1,000, but we usually stop at 10 and 100. Okay, so the next one here is changing fractions to decimals. Okay, there are 2 strategies. One of them you learned in elementary. This one right here, equivalent fractions, this is from elementary. So I just take my 3/5. Now I know that 5 goes into 10. 5 times 2 is 10, so 3 times 2 is 6. How do I write 6/10 as a decimal? It's 0.6. That's pretty easy, right? We did some of those in class today. 6/25. Well, 25 goes into 100. 25 times 4 is 100. So 6 times 4 is 24. 24 100ths would be 0.24. Now I'm going to give you a little hint right here, okay? This only works when your denominator is a factor of 10 or 100. It could be 1,000, but we're just going to use the factors of 10 and 100. So this works, write this down, when the denominator is a factor of 10 or 100. Now I'm writing pretty quickly here so your video is not too long, but remember you can pause your video anytime to write this down or listen to it again, okay? Now the numbers that are factors of 10 or 100, I'm going to give you those examples here. 2, 4, 5, 10, 20, 25, and 50. I think I got them all. Okay, so if your denominator, like right here, this number is a 5, and this one's a 25. We know they work because it's one of those numbers, okay? Now, the other strategy, we're going to use the same two fractions, but instead we're going to divide, okay? And sometimes we can nickname this method right here, top dog. Okay? And we'll talk about that more in class. Okay? So the top number, which is the numerator, goes in the house. So we divide 3 divided by 5. Now, a lot of people make mistakes here. They would read this as 5 divided by 3, but be careful. We read it from the inside out. Does 5 go into 3? No. So we're going to add a decimal and a 0 here. But does 5 go into 30? It sure does. 6 times. So 5 times 6 is 30. We just add that decimal right up there. We keep dividing. Oh, look, it's 0.6 or 6/10. Look, it's the same. Okay, 6 divided by 25 now. Okay, 25 does not go into 6. And that's okay because I don't want it to. I need to have a 0 right here. If this fraction is less than 1 whole, then I should have a 0 right here. If I have anything else, then I probably put the numbers in the wrong place. I switched my 25 and my 6. Okay, so once I add my decimal, I add a 0 here. 25 times 2 is 50, and I subtract and get a 10. I'm going to add another 0 over here. Okay, so 25 now goes into 100 4 times. 25 times 4 is 100. Okay, and I'm going to write right here, numerator divided by denominator. Okay, so you're only about 7 minutes into your homework right now. You have an optional video, a music video if you'd like. The rest of this homework assignment right here is going to be 10 easy problems, okay? But what I'm going to do, you're going to go to page 6, so the back of this page in your notebook, okay? You are going to do questions 1 through 10. Actually, no, you're not. You're going to do even. Sorry. You're going to do the even numbered problems. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. So it's 10 problems that you're going to do. But I'm going to make a second video and have it posted in just a minute that has me working out the odd number problems. Okay, I'm going to go through some of the odd number ones because if you're doing the even ones and you're not sure if you're getting them right, go back and watch a few more examples and that will help you as well, okay? So your job is to do the even number problems that I circled. If you get stuck and you're not sure if you're doing them correctly, go watch a few more examples on the other video, okay?